Almost ready.
Hey, remember, smile. You're on camera. Smile. Everybody starts smiling. Remember when he says something funny, you laugh, laugh. He's not. That looks stupid. Alright? So remember, you're on camera. If you can see you, they can see you. So smile. All of you look very pretty when you smile. You look strange when you don't. So, alright? Y'all need some room. Y'all can spread these chairs out. There's a little bit of room. She just needs to be able to get through. Yeah, slide this way. Josh and his friend, they look like they're getting comfortable.
Okay.
Hey. It is encouraged and appropriate to say, that's right. Tell them, preach it. All right? And smile all the time.
You know.
Sorry, I'm reaching down.
All right, y'all. Y'all ready for some activity numbers for the week?
Yeah!
All right, so final expense sales submitted for this week. Angela Clark, 4,309.
That's right.
Sheila Allen, 4,827. Ada Gotti with 4,916. Danny Johnson, 4,980. George Dixon, 5,339. Hernan Rowland, 5,495. Ben Smallage with 5,803. Mark Hutchinson came in with 5,847. Maria Simpson, 6,335. Minerva Profil came in third place with 9,012. Michelle Alleman came in second place with a smoking 9,727. And in first place with 11 apps for the weeks with a total of 11,691, Junior Korea. Total sales submitted for this week, Richard Brown, 10,812. Rob Sarge Wilson, 10,989. Rory Bean with 11,016. Mark Hutchinson, 12,552. Dia Gondor with 13,546. Joe Walker, 13,715. Cuz Everett with 13,818. Junior Korea, 14,196. Joe Dukes, 14,279. Minerva Profil, third place with 14,432. James Bubba Skinner, second place with 17,135. And in first place with 15 apps, 18,300, Michelle Alleman. Annuity sales issue paid for this week. Marlene Felix with 15,000. Joe Dukes, 15,000. Chuck Betts, 19,425. Brent Swindell, 20,000. James Hattie, 31,828. Toby and Stephanie Griggs with 34,000. Mac Judy, 34,976. Phil Hawks with 100,000.
Okay.
Norman Gordon, 102,313. Mimi Romero, 111,049. Abel Verasgetti, could you help me with this?
Verostegui.
Abel Verostegui came in second place with 125,000. And Christine Kanan with 243,373. With the numbers for this week. And now, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen of the Alliance, please help me welcome the man of the hour, the one that made all of this possible, Mr. Andy Albright.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So I sent out a note and I said, how would you like to find one good one on your team? One good person, one really good person to help you build your business. And that's the way this system works. It's not complicated, and I'm not a wizard with math, but it works like this. If you could get one good guy to come on board with you, that would be 2. And if each of you learn how to get one more guy, that would be 4. And so then it goes 8, 16, and 32, and then 64, and then 128. Y'all follow what I'm saying? If you had 128 people in your business, you're going to be making over $2 million a year if they're only writing 10 grand a month. You follow what I'm saying? Now, if they're only writing 5 grand a month, you're doing over $1 million income. Now, I told you I wasn't a mathematical wizard. You're thinking how fast I do this. I already had one of my guys to run it. I said, if you would run me a scenario of 6 wide, you hire 6 people, so you get 1, then you get 1, you get 1, and this one person gets 4 people selling, and then each one of those 4 get 2. So it's really just 6, 4, 2. So 6 people get 4, and 4 people get 2. And if they were doing 10 grand, you'd be making $2 million. And if they were doing 5 grand. So people are trying to find 100 people when they really need to try to find 1. And there's secrets how to find 1. So I was on the phone with one of my sharpest young guys, and I was like, oh man, listen to me, bro. I want to talk to you about finding one more person. He started telling me about the one he had. And I was like, okay, think about this. I'm telling him how to find one more, and he's telling me about the one he's got. And I'm okay. I want to hear about the one he's got, but the subject's how to find one more. Kind of reminds you, if you have a kid and you're Easter egg hunting, and he's found an Easter egg, and he's standing behind a tree, and you're standing there with him, you go, son, good job on that egg. Let's go get some more. And he's like, look at this one. And you're like, son, you got an egg. Let's go find another one. He's like, look at it. It's round. And you're like, well, open it up. And he opens it up and says, look, it's got a note in it. Good job. Okay, son, let's go find another egg. So he's thinking, you know what I mean? Like, you have no gratitude, Dad, that I found this one. And I'm like, you got to find another one. So the trick to this is, can you find another one? If you say, well, I want to know how to make crazy money, could you teach this guy who you found to find one? So that's how you go from 1 to 2 to 4. Does that make sense? So I am going to try to tell the kid to go look behind more trees, okay? The first concept, would you hand me that poster, that small poster right there, James? Some managers hire people and they try to make that egg. They sit there and they look at that egg and they teach that egg and they coach that egg. And I understand that you're trying to make that one person into be a great salesperson. But I am telling you, the way to get a multi-million-dollar income is you got to get that person to find one and you got to find another one. You want 12 options of people before you try to get them to do something. Okay? If you hire a person and then you hire 3 under them and this guy starts selling, that's great. Take him with you on appointments, but don't try to wait until he gets good before you get other people. This is the way you find one more. I hope you all have this poster of Alliance Aiden. We all actually also have Alliance Alice now also, but you're looking for this guy. So Christina, this is the type, here you go. This is the person, Christina, here you go. This is the person you're looking for, okay? Sometimes people get that and they go like, oh, I'm him. And I go, oh, yay, you. I'm glad you're him. And then some other people go like, oh, I'm not him. I'm so sad. I'm like, oh, yay, not you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is not about you, Bob. It's about finding one.
Right.
This conversation is not the one in the damn basket telling me that my egg's not an Alliance Aiden egg. Okay. Oh, I've got one in the bag, and this is Alliance Aiden. I'm like, oh, okay. We're talking about finding one today.
Right.
Does that make sense? The only way your business is going to grow is if you find one more. So that's why we're talking about finding one more. Okay. So the best way that we can find one more, Christina, I understand you got a friend that's interested. Sean, I understand you got a friend, Jonathan, who's interested. My question is, if I've hired a new guy, Sean, and I got a new guy, Jonathan, my question is, does Sean have somebody else that might be kind of interested? And does Jonathan have somebody that might be interested? Now we're dealing with 4 people. So if we can get a list of friends of a person that fits the description, in other words, if Sean or Christina or Jonathan fit the description, they're going to know 100 people that fit the description. Maybe 300 people that fit the description. So rather than running a Craigslist and finding out what kind of people respond to Craigslist, you get their list. Do you want a Sean list, a Jonathan list, a Christina list, or a Craigslist? You understand what I'm saying? Craigslist is just, and some people say, well, I answered a Craigslist. I'm thrilled that you did. Have you seen, it's like one time I went to if y'all have ever been to WWE, I mean, Vince McMahon, I mean, you talk about some rednecks there. But the people, when you go to the Coliseum, they got big trucks, big tires. And you know they got a good job air conditioning guy. I mean, you got engineers there, you got doctors. But let me tell you something. You drop down into the lower ranks of wrestling. You go out here to Airport Road in Burlington, and you go into that wrestling. You go in there, oh my God, the crowd that we were around. So in other words, if you go to NC State, you're going to find every deadgum, there's 75 different countries on campus. Indians, Colombians, Mexicans, Germans, Swiss, everybody's there at NC State. You say, we got ain't just regular old white people. There's a bunch of, there's thousands there. As a matter of fact, there's 36,000 people that are between 18 to 22 years old. You go to wrestling, you might find, if you take your own set of teeth, and these are young people with no teeth. No, I'm not kidding you. You got to go. You see stuff, you see people, you go like, that one should be in a movie. That one should be a character in a movie. You look at movies when all the people look standard, you're like, who picked the cast? They should have went with me to a wrestling match and got a kid to play that part in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it is. I mean, when you see a movie, you want to see a big fat dude in the movie. You don't want to like everybody's standard size. I mean, like in that Vegas movie, you know, that little guy that you know, you know what I'm saying? In other words, You want variety, right? In other words, in a movie, you want to see stuff that if I said it right now, it would offend you. You follow what I'm saying? It's interesting in the movie, but if I said it right now, you'd be offended. Those are the type people that you see what I'm saying? But if you get around the right person, you're able to network into the right people. So it's a whole lot better to call their list than do a Craigslist. Now, we just got back from touring around Houston and Kansas and down in Florida. And everywhere I went, I was meeting people and getting phone numbers and telling them that we're building a network and we're helping people get wealthy. And nobody said, well, I would like to join that network, but I would only sell. Nobody said that. Everybody said, oh, well, great. Can I get in? And what are we selling? And can I get other people? Like, because I told them we're in a thing where we're networking, because I wanted them to think right off the bat we need one more. But here's the other thing is, like two of them that I met immediately, it was two girls real sharp. They come running from the FBO, or they come running from the building to get our baggage for the private plane. And because they were hustling, I said, man, y'all are hustlers. And they're like, yeah, we got to get this job done. I said, hey, we hustling another deal. You want to hustle with another deal? What are you doing? I said, that's an insurance thing. We just hiring people all over the country. And they're like, yeah, tell us about it. How do we get a phone number? Get your cell phone numbers out. Boom, boom, boom. Hooked them right up with Megan Alleman and Michael Alleman. Said they were working this area. They said, all right, let's do it. So every time you turn, and then in the hotel, Tia Ray saw me doing it. So she met this sharp little girl that was behind the desk. And this girl's already in class and getting a list of names. Nice. This is how you get one more. You get one good one, and then you get a list, and you start calling that list. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm trying to be as plain and simple as I can, but I don't want to bore you to death. Let me tell you all this. We have a contest going. If one person, the more people in your team that are winning, the better off, the more money you make, because that adds the volume up. The contest has over $100,000 in it. And all the people that were hired in 2018 are competing against each other. The number one salesperson that got started in 2018, the number one, and this is just a 3-month contest, they're going to win $5,000. Number two is going to win $3,000. Number three is going to be $2,500. And then the number one recruiter. So if I had a new person that was, well, first, if they're not licensed, I'm getting their list and I'm calling everybody. But once I got 5 or 6 people licensed, or even one person's licensed, I want to make sure they understand this contest. Just walk them through it and make sure they understand it. Okay? It's a very simple contest, 2018 people. Then I want to show them the people that are winning it. So right now, in the 2018 contest, I think I got the winner right here so far. I think I know who it is. I thought I had it. I still think I had it. Here we go. No, that's 2017. Okay, 2018. The 2018 winner right now so far is Jera Gonzalez. Okay. Number 2 is Mia Farrell. And number 3 is Christian Cameron. All right. So I'm going to get these posted on Band, B-A-N-D. That's kind of an internal communication business that we have. If you're not on Band, your manager has not told you about Band. So your manager should invite you on Band. Here's what I want to tell you about these winners. Mike and Noel Leventovich were talking about this subject of hiring a person and hiring a person and hiring a person and hiring a person. And they went through the whole story. Jera Gonzalez is 12 down from them. Wow. And there's nobody in between them and Jera that's number 1 in the company. None of these 12. Now, out of the 12, there's about 3 that are selling and building the business. but about 9 quit. It's almost like, why'd they quit? I don't know. But if they'd have stayed in, they would have had Jera in their team.
That's right.
If they'd hung around. But not if whoever above them stopped when they found them. And some of them are not too good looking. Some of them are not too talented. When they were calling names, I was like, ooh. I remember them. They were not fun people. No, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm going to get Mike. If I'd have had more time, matter of fact, I'm going to get Mike to do a show and draw out every person. But he won't be able to describe them to you. But he will be able to give you their nicknames. And from their nicknames, you can have a hint what kind of a person they were. I'm not, okay, Mia. I can't remember everybody. There was this guy we called Womakis. I hired him. Actually, my wife would be happy to hear it because I hired this weird couple who was school teachers who hired another joker. It's one joker. I'll tell you one. I mean, Katz was here. He could tell me his name. He was funny. He was a good-looking young guy, single, and he smoked. But and nothing wrong with smoking because I mean my family's got tobacco, so keep smoking them smokes, baby. My boy smoked, but he was real secret about it. Like nobody knew it, and like he would hide it behind his back, and like he was a creative smoker. I call him just. Gerald was his name, and Gerald hired a guy. Oh, he called a guy and he said, "I'm coming to see you. I got something for you." Well, he called his drug dealer, his guy that gave him his drugs, and he said, "I'm bringing you something." And drug dealer was like, "That was weird," because normally he comes to get something. And so he brought him a business idea, and then the drug dealer hired my boy Womakis. Unless Womakis was a drug dealer, I'm not sure. My wife will have to take me through this. And then Womakis hired Riddle, I think. I'm not sure. Riddle could tell me if there's middle in between. So I found Riddle. And y'all know Riddle. Riddle's one of my guys making $1 million income. Then Riddle has hired a bunch of people. One guy he hired, he was at a Japanese steakhouse, one of those things where you got like 4 couples, and the couple sat beside him was Chris and Courtney Long. And if you saw Chris and Courtney, even now you'd be like, they're awesome. But if you go back 10 years, they were like perfect. Alliance Aiden and Alliance Allie, just perfect, right? He was in IT degree, he was making $117,000 on his job, and Courtney had a cool little job, and he recruited him. So, but watch this, he hired somebody else, who hired somebody else, who hired somebody else, who hired Olga Mathis, who hired Terry Edwards, who hired another kid who hired Mia. And Mia is number 2 in 2018.
Wow.
And usually what we find, and this is kind of I'm kind of beating on some of my leaders, but my leaders, usually the first 2 legs, you find really good people down 12, 13 deep. But whoever's leading it, they get number 2 leg and they try to make them into a superstar. And then they get their 3 leg and 4 leg and try to make them into superstars, as opposed to just going 12 deep until they find somebody. So this will be another subject. If you have 2 good organizations and you're trying to find a 3rd good organization, get a list and go under them and try to go deep. Get really talented at going deep so that you can find Jera and Mia in your 3rd leg, not your 1st and 2nd, and in your 4th leg, and your 5th and your 6th leg. Okay? All right. So the 2018 people, if they do really good, they can pass 2017 people and take their money. Because the 2017 people, the best in 2017, I'm giving them $5,000 unless somebody that was hired later in 2018 and sells more than them, I'm going to take them down and I'm going to move the 2,000 person up. So right now, Jera leads the 2017 people also. So she's on track to win $10,000 cash just from selling. Eric Paul Cruz is number 2, so he would get $3,000. And listen to this. Mia, who's way down in the group, has beat out everybody else in 2017, and she's on track to win $2,500. So she's on track to win $3,000 in the 18 contest and $2,500 in the 17 contest. Pretty cool. Then we got Christian Cameron again, who's knocked out the 2017 people also. For recruiting, we've got Anthony Evans. Did I do recruiting for 2018 at all? Richard Smith, I was hanging out with him and his wife yesterday, not one day, maybe it was yesterday. They're leading it, and then Tim Long is number 2. Darren White's number 2. All of those have got 2 more agents that have got started in with. Nice. So James Johnson's doing good, and Mia is in that contest. She's number 6 in recruiting too. Go Mia. Okay. Recruiting in 2017, Anthony Evans leads it with 3. He's part of Paul Roberts' team. And Kurt Denny, who's part of the Fitzgerald team, has got 2. And then Richard Smith is actually number 3 in recruiting. So those are going to be posted on Band also. In the veteran contest, Sarge Wilson. Y'all know Sarge? He's the one with the cool Jesus posts and everything in the band. You know, he has them, you know, the angel and everything. And you're like, I'm always like, he's number 1 in the country, y'all. Y'all try to say something about him and his Jesus, but he's number 1. And he puts those army things. Sometimes he put Jesus with a machine gun. I'll be shaking my head when I see those posts. Y'all, Sarge, quit putting them crazy posts up. Quit it. I'm not kidding. Quit putting those crazy. But do this. Keep spanking their butt in sales. That's right. Every once in a while, put something crazy up. Hey, I tell you what idea. How about this, Sarge? Put more pictures up of you and them crazy-looking clients you get. Raise your hand if you think you met the weirdest client this week. Raise your hand. None of y'all met a weird client this week? Y'all ain't raising your hand. Y'all must not seen no clients. Bunch of non-selling. Oh, shoot. Way to go, Sarge. Sarge is beating everybody in sales in this contest. He's going to win $5,000 extra, and he's probably going to give it all to Mona. Bill Cook is number 2 with a shot at winning $3,000, and Junior Correa is number 3. Nice. And James Coleman, I have met you. You should be able to spank Junior, Bill Cook, and Sarge. And then James Hill, step over just a little bit, James. James Hill and his wife combined are in number 5 place right now. James, who sold more, her or you?
Oh, definitely my wife.
She's outsold you?
Oh, yes.
You in charge of the recruiting side, and she's in charge of the sales side. You are number 3 in recruiting in the country with 4. I'm proud of you for that, James Hill. So him and his wife are number 3, and actually she counts for recruiting too. So they're 5 and 3. So y'all stand to win some easy cash, baby. Kyle Cater, who is right here beside me, is number 1. Where's your staff, Kyle? To get them right in here. Listen, y'all. All right. Let me give y'all a broader picture here so y'all can see them. All right, Kyle Cater staff, raise your hand. Where y'all at? We still can't see you. There she is. All right. Okay. Y'all have 9 new people written business. Here's what I really want to know. How many of them do you have lists from? I need for you to go to page 2, which is how do you get them to sell, 1. And I realize that gets you good Samaritan Bonus money. And it also helps you win the contest. But to get rich, how do you get a list? So if you're on this call, if any of those 9 are on this call, I would say, I'm the one that you need to work with. I'm the one that has the best list. I know the best people. You with me? You got to start getting this list. After this meeting, I want an immediate meeting with Tia and James and Angela. Is there anybody else that's writing 10 grand a month in here? Nobody? And Jen, I want to show y'all with a small group how important this is to learn how to get that list. I'm going to blow you away. And people say, why don't you tell it to everybody? Because here's what I do. I hire a lot of width, and then I go in depth, and I get a mass of people. And then I see who my most intelligent, who my most driven, who my most results-oriented people are. And then I pour more into them than the people that I feel like I'm pouring into a dadgum black hole. Because it sucks my energy away when I'm talking to people who don't produce. No offense to the non-producers, the non-believers, and all that stuff. But I'm looking for ones that get results so that I spend my valuable voice time with them and not the masses of bunkies. You with me? All right, so number 2 in the United States of America in recruiting, thank you, Andy, is Mike and Noel Leventovich. And they have rejuvenated their thought process of going deep and finding another Jera, because they desperately need another Jera in leg 3, 4, and 5. Because if you understand how to get promoted and recognized on our team, you need width that has depth. You need people hired outside the guy you hired that goes down in there and finds somebody good. Mike Paleo has come alive. Did I see Niall? I saw Niall getting out of his car. Is he in here? I don't see him in here. He's upstairs. Now I want to tell them why you said your dad. I asked Niall. I said, why is Mike Paleo selling like crazy? But I can't tell y'all. Y'all have to ask Niall. You say, hey, why is Mike recruiting like crazy? But something has got him stirred up. And Mike Paleo is killing this thing, and he is number 4 in recruiting. Nice. Scott Ducharme is number 5, and the rest of those will be posted on Band if you want to look those up. So, one thing that I like about we do, you understand there's hundreds of things I like that we do, but one thing we like is called the Good Samaritan Bonus. I don't know how much money that we have given away to charities, but it works like this. It's $100 at a time. You write a minimum of $5 grand of insurance, issue paid, okay? Hey, I want to give y'all a hint going forward. Next year, issue paid means when you got the money in your checking account, not when it's issue paid. You know what I'm saying? Because I get this crap about this contest is not over because I've issue paid one more. And I go, have you got a check account? No, I ain't got my check, but I'm going to get it next week. Well, that's when you're going to get credit for it. That's right. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm going to simplify this program. If you ain't got the money, you ain't got paid. So it's issue paid, but you ain't issue paid. Right. So now we can end the contest day. At the end of the day, the contest is over. Because if you got the money, you got to issue paid. You go, but what if the carrier didn't give it to me? Then you ain't got it. That's what. I don't want this waiting a week, 2 weeks, Thursday, Friday. Either you got the money in your checking account at the end of the contest, or you ain't got issue paid. I don't know about y'all, but I don't consider it paid until I got money. If any of you like issue paid without the money, just let me know and I will hook you up. I will make your life a daggum living heaven. Does that make sense? That's simple. When my smart guys told me that, I was like, whoa. We've been waiting 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. All these people email and argue, especially this one girl. God almighty. I don't even want to run a contest. She's 32 emails. And then she had her secretary telling us that she got issue paid and the company's confused. And, oh, Lord, drive you crazy. You with me? If you ain't got your money in your checking account, contest over. If you got your money contest, if you got your money in checking accounts, contest over. Does that make sense? Either you got paid or you didn't. One of it's carrier's fault. Well, there you go. You should have sucked up more. You should have sent more chocolate candy. I think it turned it. It's dry. Does that make sense? How many of y'all are okay with this? How many of you going to fight about it? You're going to file a grievance with your shop steward? All right. At the end of the month, if you've been paid money to the tune of $5,000 in premium, do you have our total? So far, since we started this program, we have given out 1,666 checks to charities for $415,000 in cash. Like, who do you know? Like, I have personally given out of my commission checks 1,666 checks to the tune of $450,000 cash. My mama said to me the other day, you ain't give your brother nothing. You stingy. You don't give no money away. I can't wait. I'm going to give her this note next time. I'm going to say, look at there, mama. She going to say, is one of those checks to your brother? I said, no, mother. I love my brother. He don't need no money. He got a good job. I shouldn't have told that. I get carried away. Transparency and all that stuff, you know. $415,000. I sure would like to get this thing over $1 million next year. But the way we got to do it is y'all got to get issue paid over $5,000 in a month, and you got to get another person to get an issue pay check. So that's the object. The obstacle is get at least $5,000 and get one person to get a check that you hired. Okay? So you got to be putting in a new WIT, get them get an issue paid check, and you get a GSP of $100. And then the more money you sell, the more money I give away. It'll go all the way up to $350 a month. So you could give away close to $4,000. And then what we'd like for you to do is when I write that check to $100 to your favorite charity, I want you to write another $100 check. So I hope that the company gave away over $800,000 already. I hope it was matched. Now, I know some people, if I give 100, they give 500, and that's fine. But there are some people that give 0 too, which is really weird. But I've seen companies that say, when you give, we'll match you. We go first, and then we ask you to match it. But you don't have to. Does that make sense? So last month, Good Samaritan Bonus. Let's see, who got the big checks? James Coleman, we gave away $350. Don't know what charity we gave it to. It was James's favorite. And then Marcus Richardson, we did $300. Brant Swindell, we gave away $300. Mark Hutchinson, we gave away $300. James Hill, do you know who y'all picked for your charity? Tim Goad. So James and Jane picked Goad Ministries, and Adam Johnson, we did $300. So there was a lot of people that got at least $5,000, and there's some people that got $5,000 and didn't get another person started, couldn't give them a check. And there were other people that got 2 people started but didn't sell $5,000. We couldn't give them a check. So it's that well-rounded person that we want to represent. Okay? All right. So the contest will be on band, and the rules for contest, the $5,000 contest will be on band also. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit more. On finding one person. There's a convention coming up here, January 24th through the 27th. I will have multiple presidents from insurance companies, underwriters, contracting, people from different carriers will come here to the office. We'll also have President's Club, lead performance team available. And some of you are considering coming up here to get hyped up, motivated, and educated. I want to talk to the reconnaissance group. Kyle, here's what I want you to do.
Yes, sir.
All right? When you get a guy started, I want you to talk to him about building his business. Christina, I want to talk to you about building your business, okay? So when you bring your buddy, what's her name that you're thinking about? I think she might be good? Gabrielle. So when you bring Gabrielle, I want you to get hyped and have fun and meet people, but I want you to think reconnaissance, okay? So we're going to rob this big bank in New York or Chicago, wherever it is. We need to go there. And some people say, why don't we just get the schematics? Because we want to go there. We want to get a look at what the teller looks like, what the president looks like. We want to investigate. We want to see if they have gun screening machines, if they have them wands. We want to check out where the cameras are. We're going to take this place. We need to do some reconnaissance. What'd you say your friend was? Gabrielle. So when you, Gabrielle, come up here, you'll be thinking, we're going to take over this company. We're going to make a lot of money. We're going to pass Kyle. You want Gabrielle to meet him and just, casually, hey, how's it going? So you got a staff, do you? You with me? You want reconnaissance. And you say, well, when the speakers are up on there, what reconnaissance I'm doing? See, the speakers are getting people fired up. Not necessarily you and Gabrielle, because y'all are out there doing the reconnaissance. But just play along with a yeah. You with me? If you like me, sometimes I go for reconnaissance. I get all caught up in that and get more fired up about that. But in your head thinking like, I got to calm down because I got reconnaissance to do. So you're looking around like, see what team's on the front. You got these front row fanatics. That's what they got on their shirt. So you're like, wonder who they are. And then find out if that's working for them. You with me? Meet the carriers, get their card, and ask them some personal questions. They got children, where their children are. Because their children might be where you are. They might go to Boston College or some college or Elon University. I mean, that's, you building that rapport, just like if you was at the bank, that teller, that president, they know who you are, so they let their guard down so you can take their gun. Does that make sense? Yes. You say, well, are we going to take the president of the insurance company's gun? Yeah. Because what happens is he's got these attorneys, and they're going to get mad over something, and you're going to call him and say, listen here, Bob, remember me? Yeah, I remember you. So listen, we got a little situation. He's like, what? Believe it or not, they can just flip it for you.
That's right.
Shocking that they can do that. It happens at the what's that place where it's always real depressing? Oh, you get your license? DMV. You ever go to the DMV, if you know one of them women, she'll be like, hey, come here a minute. Come up here. You run the line. And like if you're second line, I mean, you know how they are. They sit behind that desk, And somebody like, that ain't fair. She'll be like, you better shut up and let that person go to the front line. They got rules, but they don't follow them. They do they're like little gods at the DMV place. You with me? Same thing if you go through security at the airport. They're like a little god. You know what I'm saying? They think they own everything because they got a little badge, right? Same thing with these executives in insurance companies. They can do anything they want to, just like security guards. And people say, I thought they supposed to follow the rules. Do them security guard people follow the rules when you're going through the airport? Big frisking you in places they ain't supposed to frisk you. And make it worse, it's the same sex. You follow what I'm saying? I remember when they first did it in Southwest, girls would pat you down. You'd be like, this ain't so terrible. You follow what I'm saying? My wife, she's like, we're going through American Airlines. It's like, calm down, baby. They're just doing their job. Now they got some big ugly guy doing it. You'd be like, dude, I wasn't crazy about touching me there before. Now you doing it. I know I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? These are the same people. You say those kind of people don't run insurance companies. Yes, they do. They're humans with feelings. And that's why I said if you send them chocolate or something. Some people, I guarantee you, Sarge sends chocolate, letters, emails, notes, gifts. You say you can't send gifts to the underwriters. You should. They're people. They're people. I don't, do the public transportation that much anymore. But when I used to do it in Raleigh, I knew those people. I could go through, it was crazy what I could get away with. You with me? Because I knew them. It's the same thing with the insurance company. It's crazy how much they will help you. You with me? Yeah. When you come to our national convention, get to know them. Does that make sense? Yes. Lead performance team. You say, your staff is not like those. Yes, they are. I was looking at band, and I saw where this one sucker done sent lunch up here for the whole lead performance team. I was like, he's getting all the good leads this week. I was like, no, everybody, you follow what I'm saying? When you come up here, get to know the lead performance team, get to know the contracting team, get to know the agency building, get to know people. You can't be superior in an endeavor without meeting the people that run it. I got a phone call. Some of y'all know this. I got a phone call this week from the president of Foresters. And I couldn't take it. I said, dude, I'm right in the middle of something. I said, give me 5 minutes. I'll call you right back. He said, good deal. So he called me back. He said, look here, man. He said, I'm getting ready to take a CEO job of another company. You need to plan on how this thing's going to work out for you. Does that make sense? If I'm not his friend, I don't get that phone call. So I can plan how to cover y'all's butt. So like I'm always flying to Canada. I'm always inviting him places, trying to be a friend. Does that make sense? Now, you understand 99% of the time I ain't thinking what I can get. I'm thinking how much I like this guy. But it turns out that I'll do anything for him and he'll do anything for me. And guess what he now is? CEO. He went from president to CEO of another company. How about that? You say, y'all gonna get a deal with another company. Mm-hmm. So the president of Foresters, if y'all didn't understand, has left. He's CEO somewhere else. But it's okay because all the other people that are shot to be the president, I've been friends with them and keep friends. You with me? So we're going to have all of them in one place at January 24, 25, 26. You with me? Yeah. And we're going to have them some incredible speakers. I don't know if y'all have heard of Billy Graham, who inspired millions of people worldwide. He has a son that started a company called Good Samaritan's Purse. They're on television all the time where they're rescue efforts after hurricanes, storms, other countries. Franklin has committed to come see us and talk at that meeting about what all his dad did and what he does, and it's just what he sees. Now, y'all understand they're not a broke ministry. They got like 5 jets. If you admire that sort of thing, meaning success, helping people and traveling in style. That is, I resemble that remark. You know what I'm saying? So I said, how do you get one more person? Well, first of all, you got to understand how to sell conventions, right? So like if you're a preacher and you're trying to sell coming to your church, if a person says, I'm hurting, we healing. If a person says, I feel good, then we need help. You got to know what to sell. If they say, I've got my life in order and I'm living a great life, you say, our church could really use somebody like you to help the other people. Right. If they're hurting, you say, great, we're doing a lot of healing. Mm-hmm. So do you need to tell reconnaissance? Do you need to sell reconnaissance to Gabrielle and Sean and Jonathan and then whoever John's get? Or do you need to sell the hype? If they say, I just don't feel good, I need something to get me rejuvenated, we sell them on that part of the convention. Does that make sense? Yes. What part of the convention can you sell this person on? Now, if you hire a guy who hires a guy who hires a guy who hires a guy, 12 deep, and the one 9 down says, I'm going for reconnaissance, height, and I want to meet Kyle Cater and find out he's spanking everybody else's butt, I'm going to talk to him. Well, the 9 deep is going. Now you tell this one who's going, and you tell this one who's going, and the first person you tell them going ain't Franklin Graham. And don't tell them that Inky Johnson, they don't care. Right. But if their downline's going, you see what I'm saying? I am preaching to you, telling to you, begging you to get one more person. You got to go 12 deep on the list of the person that you've got. You say, what if I've hired 4 and none of them will give me a list? You're terrible at getting lists. You're 0 for 4. The 5th person, start earlier trying to get their list. You with me? If you've got 9 people, get the 2 that most fit the Alliance Aiden and get their list. You say, what if I hire an old man who's 54 years old? What do I do with him? Get his list. Tell him what you're looking for and see if he's got a niece, nephew, cousin, aunt, whatever, that he can put you 4 people or give you the top 20 people that fits the list. If you start calling his list and it's all people his age, just look at him and then look around and see if you can find another list. Does that make sense? If you ain't got no other list to call his. But hurry through it and get some more recruits so that you can find a better list to call off of. Now, if you're calling off a 54-year-old's list and everybody you call is 23, 26, 27, you keep calling until you get them in it. And then you get their list. Now you're going to have 200 people to call. So because a 54-year-old, he might have 15 or 20 that are the right age, but a 25-year-old is going to have 200 that are right age. You see what I'm saying? In other words, find them Easter eggs by looking behind them trees. Don't just stand there and stare at it. You ain't never going to find another Easter egg. You're never going to find one more if you don't start looking. Then you explain to them about coming to the convention. Now, some people ask me, so why should I get good at selling based on everything you're telling me? Now, and one person made this mistake. He said, I don't want to sell no more. And I was like, Bo, you do too. He said, I want to make all them overrides. I said, bro, you want to be 1% of your income. So let's say you're selling and you make $20,000 this year, okay? Or you make $20,000 this month. How about let's do this, $20,000 this month. How would you like to make 100 times more money? How would you like to make $2 million this month and 20,000 came from your personal sales? You say, well, I'm going to sell 0. What if you sell 0 and nobody else sells? That sucks. And we can't give a good Samaritan bonus to your company, to your charity. You say, well, that's okay. I don't care if I get $100. I just want my $2 million override. There's 2 things. Tara, where are you at? Tara, there's 2 things that you can give people concerning this business. One is an opportunity and the other is an example. And if you're not setting an example for them, shame on you. Because it's hard to expect people to follow you if you're setting a terrible example. Then they're going to follow somebody else. And you ain't going to like it. Because people like to have their own team. They don't like it when somebody on our team follows somebody else. And then the other thing is, it's hard for the upline to convince them to do the right thing because they're like, she's not, he's not. So what you want to do is become the best annuity salesperson in the country. You want to become the best referral getter in the country. You want to be the best IUL salesperson, mortgage protection, final expense. You want to become the example for sales. The example for sales is so much better than you telling them what somebody else is doing.
That's right.
So you want to become a great example of sales, doing all the basics, the simple, dumb basics, and you want to be the one that sets the example by driving deeper. You tracking with me on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Andy, is there any books that would help me with this? Yeah, my favorite book to help you with this is called The Friendship Factor. You don't know why you're friends with some people, but when you read through this book, you will know why some of your friends are your favorite. You might get rid of some friends when you read this because you go like, this person is not truly a friend. The Friendship Factor by Alan Loy, L-O-Y, McInnis, M-C-G-I-N-N-I-S. This book is great on making friends because people who are friends with you will give you their list. People that trust you will give you the list. If you're friends, they're more likely to trust. And this is how to do the friendship factor. There's great stuff in here. One of the quotes that I like, too, is, it's along these lines. The acids of accumulated grievances. The acids of accumulated grievances will eat away at any relationship. Meaning, if you don't have communication, then the acids of accumulated grievances, problems, is going to build up. So the other thing that I, as far as I know, people are starting to quote me already, but this is what I said. The communication is the lubrication of financial affairs. So without communication, you don't have lubrication, you have friction. And then what this says is not only do you have friction, you have accumulated acid from grievances. So by asking what's going on is communication, we get lubrication and we get financial money flowing. You tracking with me? The opposite. So the friendship factor talks about what communication to have, how to communicate, when to communicate, and the whole deal. Okay. All right. Last thing that I want to tell you, I'm going to draw it for you. What I want you to do is take a straight up white sheet of paper. If you're taking notes, put U at the top, Y-O-U, and then draw a line straight across it like this right here. Can y'all see that? Turn around and look at it. It's just U with a line. Then you want to do a line below it, and below it, and below it, and you want 12 lines. If you got notebook paper, you don't even have to do it. You just number the lines. U on the first line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? What you want is when you start networking, you want to get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people across the top like this right here. Y'all can turn around and check it out. And you want to find a good list so that you can get another person underneath that person. So this one person, now you're on a third level. Now we're on a third level. On the bottom level, Tia, you want people 12 deep in 6 different legs. So it's like filling out, what do you call those things? They ain't kudzu puzzles. Mazu puzzles, you know, what's that? Sudoku. Yeah, it's Sudoku, it's not kudzu. Them Sudoku things, you trying to get the letters filled out, your grid is 12 deep, 6 wide. So if you can get this thing like a game, trying to get 6 legs 12 deep, you say, why will that work, Andy? I don't know, I've been doing it for 20 years. I know how I found Andy Riddle, know how I found Adam Katz. Adam Katz was 8 deep. And then Argenio was like 3 or 4 more deep. So it's just going deep through the right people, you build a leg. Okay? So that's kind of your grid, your contest that you're trying to fill out and win. Ideally, you got 5 or 6 at the top like this, and then you got 3,000 at the bottom. Gets that shape right there. Whoop, whoop, and then you at the top. So you can get like that, like of a light shade type construction where it's straight across like that and then down way wide and deep. That's how you get to do stuff like tomorrow morning, me and Jane are getting up kind of leisurely and riding over to the jet, and just me and her are going to jump on the jet and go down to our beach house. I'm so excited to hang out with Jane. And one of the big things that we have on the way down is talking about where we're going to eat. There's so many cool places to eat, and we have no schedule. And me and her are going to hang out, and we get to see what they've been doing to the house. They've hung all our doors back up in the house. We painted. They started working. They've hung we got them old school gutters. They're round, like, you know, instead of square, they're round, look like a half tube. Apparently that's what, and it's out of copper. The whole, you know, expensive copper. How cool is that going to look to have half pipe copper gutters all over the house? I'll send y'all a picture of it. And then we're going to sit out on the deck. We're going to watch the sunset. And we'll always try to coordinate whether we're going to go to eat before sunset or after. But I like to be, my favorite place to see sunset is on our deck. Now, there are restaurants that you can see it from, and we kind of like those too. So I always let her make the call on that, but it's always a conversation. You with me? If you want to have conversations in situations like this, you need to drive them deep. So we're down there 2 or 3 nights, and a cruise company called us and said, if you'll come down to Miami on Tuesday, we'll take you out for a couple nights. We'll put you in our best suite, the presidential suite. Food's free. Everything's free. I think I have to pay if we're rolling dice. Okay? Okay, so we get to hang out for a couple nights and investigate this ship and then fly back home. You with me? If you want to do stuff like that, and then like Saturday's another football game, and we were debating on whether jumping in a jet and going to Louisville, Kentucky and seeing the game. I said, let's stay home and watch it on TV. If you want to have discussions like that, learn how to get one more. And the best way is through list and driving it. Then set the example, then get them to come to convention. This is a simple formula that Albright has never tired. I've never tired of doing it, teaching it, being it, and that's why I've always driven my income up. And I'm trying to explain to you as many ways. I can't do the friendship factor. I can't do the whole thing. But if I could get you to do that simple stuff, I think between now and the end of the year, we're going to have some explosive growth. I mean, obviously, we have this big contest going through the first year. We're still giving away trips to Paris and Switzerland all through the end of the year. It's going to be a crazy fourth quarter. But can you imagine if you could get 6 people in your team that are capable of doing something like this, how you could explode in 2019? Okay, Angela, James, Kyle, and Stephanie, and Jen. Is there anybody else writing 10 grand? Tia. I said Tia. Yeah. Stephanie. I said Stephanie. What did you say? Okay. Okay, well, let's just keep Teresa in here. Okay. Love y'all. Thanks for plugging in. Kill it this weekend.